Hello, my name is Carolyn Pointer, and I'm an assistant professor of medical humanities at the SIU School of Medicine. Today I'll be talking about medical legal partnerships in palliative care. The goal of the medical legal partnership is to change the legal and medical models to prevention. For example, helping a patient apply for public benefits correctly rather than appealing the decision after a denial has been made at the initial stage. And by making these individual changes and systemic changes to make patient care easier and right the first time out rather than waiting for things to go bad down the road. When people talk about the medical legal partnership, what they're really talking about is the medical home or a medical neighborhood and these collaborative multi-provider teams that include an attorney on the team along with the traditional doctors, nurses, and social workers. So if you imagine working with a cancer patient who's trying to juggle filing for disability, insurance denials, not being able to make their rent and their credit card bills because they aren't getting these benefits yet, but they aren't able to work due to their treatment, and you recognize that these are critical issues for her quality of life and her ability to fully participate in her therapies, and you want to practice whole person care, but you may not know how to address some of these problems because these are areas that are not in the traditional medical sphere of influence. And these are the questions that drive medical providers into medical legal partnerships. For example, Dr. Rodenbaugh, an assistant professor at the University of Nebraska, shares her story of coming to recognize her treatment team needed attorneys. Once a medical legal partnership gets started, both medical and legal providers become upstreamists, looking for the root cause of patient problems and trying to fix them. For example, instead of trying to help a patient apply for unemployment, a medical legal partnership would have information about intermittent FMLA leave available when patients are diagnosed. And these are the areas of law that medical providers have traditionally not been able to be involved in, but are really important for palliative care patients. And you can see from the slide, these are the 4 clusters that Dr. Rodenbaugh team identified as medical legal needs that are very important to patient care. And the interventions that medical legal partnerships take depend really on the situation. They might just be assessing the need. They could be medical providers helping write letters. It's not about turning a medical provider into an attorney, but training the medical providers to recognize the need and provide appropriate interventions, including referring them out to a legal specialist or an attorney when necessary. And this is really important because there's a trusting relationship with medical providers. And so patients who get a referral to an attorney from that trusted medical provider will have a lot more faith and trust in that legal provider, and that legal provider will be able to more quickly build a trusting relationship with the patient. So for example, the Department of Labor has rules about when people are eligible for intermittent leave. And this might be really valuable for your patient's job security or even just their peace of mind about their job security. So having that information identified as a need by the attorney and available to help your patient when they're first diagnosed or going through treatment plans can be very helpful for your patients. The medical legal partnership helps providers understand the social determinants that are impacting their patient's health. And it gives them the tools to use when they are facing these barriers to care. Sometimes people worry that attorneys are replacing social workers or that social workers already provide these medical legal partnership services. But here you'll see that really the attorneys are augmenting the services of social workers. The medical legal partnership model, by reducing stress, can really improve quality of life for patients in palliative care. And I think what's important to realize is that this impacts not just the patients, but also the providers. Attorneys like medical legal partnership because they have the ability to help these clients earlier and more successfully because they've identified the problems in a preventive rather than a reactive manner. Medical providers like medical legal partnerships because it allows their patients to focus on their medical problems because there is an expert working on the legal issues. And social workers like the medical legal partnership model because they have backup where their resources end. A social worker could identify a resource, but if the resources are improperly denied, now they have a place to send their patients to get help with that. The Medical Legal Partnership is in over 200 facilities around the country, and there's a national center at George Washington University that can provide you with information about starting your own medical legal partnership.